Hey, what's up YouTube? Comic Freak for Life here, coming at you from the Adirondack Mountains of New York to bring you a Let's Talk About Yu-Gi-Oh video. The last time I did one of these was in 2011, which is a long time ago. That was when I was still in high school, and I would do these kind of videos just when I was waiting for something, waiting around just outside, nothing to do, and I wanted to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh and explain things I was thinking about. So I decided to do that right here. The rest of my family is in one of the exhibits at the Adirondack Museum. You can go ahead and check that out. See, I'm really up at the top of the hill. It's way up higher, overlooking the whole thing. The back here is like a service area, but I'm just sitting on these stairs, just hanging out, chilling. Wanted to talk about some stuff that was on my mind about what just happened this past weekend. So, yeah, let's talk about it. So, Ultra Reality Circuit Series, Atlantic City, New Jersey was this past weekend. A week after the newest set, Duelist Alliance, came out, which was a big set. 3 of the biggest, best decks, Satella Knights, Burning Abyss, and Shaddolls. All of them came out in the set. Burning Abyss, which was the TCG exclusive archetype. And all 3 did extremely well this event. Shaddolls were expected by far to do the best, since they've been doing the best in Japan and OCG. Whereas they didn't actually do as well as we thought, for a couple of reasons, which I'll explain. But Satella Knights ended up doing the best, got first and second. A bunch of them, like half of them, were in the top 16 of that event. So right now, that deck is being really hyped. It's gone really high up in price. And all I can say is, I feel that the reason Shaddolls didn't do as well is because people really haven't had a chance to practice with them and find the perfected build that we would preferably be the best deck. So I feel that it'll take a couple of weeks to hone in, and there's going to be like a best build or 2 for that deck that people will kind of have a consensus over. That's the best way to build that deck. So I really think that it's going to take some time, but that the deck will soon become the best deck. I feel like all 3 of those decks can compete against each other. And the reason I think the Satella Knights did better than Shaddolls is I feel like they're a lot more linear and more straightforward on how the deck is played. A lot more so than Shaddolls, anyway. I still feel all these decks take skill. It's not just autopilot. These same people do well equally all the time is because they are good players. It doesn't have to just do with the deck. Yes, the deck is the best deck, and they're good players because they play one of the best decks. But them, in addition to playing the best deck, being an amazing player helps them win. There is just as much skill as there is luck and good deck involved in this. So anyone that says, oh, that's just an autopilot deck, it's not the case. The good players will do well all the time if they're playing the best deck. So that's just how it is. So anyway, Satella Knights did the best because I feel right now, coming out just the set last week, that they're more linear and more straightforward than Shaddolls would be with the plays and the builds, so that in the coming weeks, I feel that Shaddolls would do a lot better as people learn how to play the deck and whatnot. With the prices, Satella Knights have gone up in price. A lot of things have gone way over explode. People are saying these things are worth $60 for the Burning Abyss Dante or whatever. The thing you gotta recognize with these cards is that they're only worth what people are willing to pay for them. So if a card is on eBay for $60 listed, it doesn't mean that it's worth that much, because no one's going to be willing to pay $60 for that. You got to look at completed listings. Because these things are not of intrinsic value like gold or something, you can only go on what people are willing to pay for it. So when you look at completed listings, you can see that this card, although it's maybe $60 listed, people have only bought this card for maybe $30. Now, the value should go by what people are willing to pay for it. So you got to look at what people have paid for on average and that's the price that it should be valued at. So if you go and look on the Dantes, they're really only sold for $30, $35 at the most. Those $60 value cards are just people that put them up there for ridiculous prices. It doesn't mean they're worth that much, doesn't mean people are going to buy it. That's just what they want to put it up there. So when you're valuing cards, you got to value it at what people have been actively paying for the card, not what people have been listing it for. I can list a common Karibo, whatever, for $1 million. Doesn't mean it's worth that much. So I pulled a couple of good cards. A good friend of mine I'm trading with, I ended up trading at locals here for 2 Telenova Alphas or whatever, for like 8 each, like a week ago. And now they're like $25 on eBay. That's how much they're listed for. So I ended up trading him. I value him at 15 because I know they're going to go back down. It's really just hype. And within a week, these cards are going to slowly go back down to not maybe all the way to what they were, but it's not going to be nearly as high as they are now. So I valued him at 15 because I got him for 8 each, and I don't really care. And 25, I feel it's going to go down, and because he's a friend. And he valued his Winda at 30, which was originally like 35 to 40, but it's gone down slightly. So it works out for me either way, works out for him either way. So just, you got to know that you got to look at complete listings, what people are paying for it, and that's what you go your value off of. You can't just go off of what people list it. It's only worth what people are willing to pay for it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on what's going on so far. Within a week, these cards will slowly go back down. Maybe not exactly all the way, but a lot lower. I feel like those 3 are the best decks. You'll kind of have to see a transformation of how these decks are doing, seeing as we still got to figure out how the deck is played and what the best builds are. So it's never an adapting way. People will slowly get better with these decks. So stay tuned in the coming future to see what decks actually progress and how they change, and what deck builds will eventually be accepted as the best build per se. One other thing, the Mega Tins coming out this Friday have a lot of reprints, which is also cool. I really don't have any expensive cards. I really only build a deck and then play with that deck, and I have like worms right now, so it's no big deal. So I'm excited about that. If you guys have any comments about what I've talked about in this video, please leave them in the description below. If you enjoy this video, if you want to see more of them, I'm going to be posting a video every day or so like this until I get back home in a couple of weeks. So give me your feedback. What do you think? Thanks a lot, you guys. Thanks for watching my videos and supporting me. And this is Comic for Life. Keeping it real. Signing out.